remember when I was in 8th grade, I had to take a class called ethics. Now, ethics is about right and wrong. But if you'd asked me what my favorite subject was back in 8th grade, it was basketball. I don't think ethics would have made it on the list.
I'm astounded. Is he trying to have a confessional with the American people? Is he finally cracking up? Even he has limits? I can't believe that that's actually the President of the United States admitting what we all know to be true, that he's better at night basketball than he is at ethics. Well, we could say that this administration has been better to basketball players than any administration in history. That would be true, I suppose. You could say this administration's been better to broccoli than any administration in history, better to carrots than to the American people. But would you believe you'd wake up on a Wednesday, 2 days before the deadline, and this administration would give out $1 billion to friends under the guise of solar projects after $500 million went missing in the Solyndra scandal? Would you believe they could get away with it? Sure, you would believe it. If the New York Times will not produce the story, if the local newspapers around the country are talking about movie stars cheating on movie stars, you can get away with anything. You can get away with illegitimate wars in Libya. You can get away with closing down oil wells in the Gulf of Mexico or letting foreign nations drill off the Gulf states. You get away with anything if you own the newspapers, or if the newspapers are fellow travelers, whichever way you want to put it. See, the phrase fellow traveler is one that you should put into your lexicon. It goes back to the old Cold War days when there were communists and anti-communists. And there were communists who had fellow travelers. Today we have communists running virtually every aspect of the American government and of the American media. So you say, oh, come on, Mike, what do you mean by communist? I make it simple for you. It doesn't mean marching in the streets with a red beret. Communists believe in government control of every aspect of your life, centralized control, no states' rights, only federal rights, only run out of the White House, all roads lead to Rome. It's dictatorship. That's all it means. No, dictators come in many different sizes, forms, colors, varieties, sexes, genders, AC, DC, foot power, many, many different varieties of communism. There's outright communism, socialism, Leninism, thisism, thatism. At the end of the day, it's simply not good for the average person. I had a friend who has relatives who live in Panama. They've been there forever. They emigrated to Panama, God knows when. So they're embedded in Panamanian society. They lived through Pineapple Head, Noriega, remember him? And now they're living through the democracy of Panama. And they said it was easier to live as a business person when there was a dictatorship in Panama because only one crook came by to their business for one payout. They said now it is every day. Bureaucrats come to their business every day with permits, demands, citations, punishments. Sounds like Marin County, California. Go try to build a house in Marin County, California. Every low-life bureaucrat ever invented will show up at your house. Fire permit, electric permit, water permit, air permit, floor permit. And then they'll tell you that you didn't do it right, and they send the next variety of bums out. Pensioners. They're worse than a dictatorship, but they're no less corrupt than a dictatorship. Yep. Nothing. There's a movie out called Killer Elite I saw over the weekend. Whoa, what a waste of time. Robert De Niro was in this movie with Clive Owen and Jason Statham. Killer Elite. I don't know how to describe it other than to say, can you believe a man would be tied to a chair and being tortured, and he flips himself over in the chair and beats up the people who are torturing him with the chair? Well, if you can believe that, go see it. Apparently, even the brain-dead morons who go to movies and theaters aren't going to see this lunacy. It's horrible. Robert De Niro looks like a homeless person, yet he's supposed to play an aging hitman protecting people. I couldn't believe it. It's comedic. How could they put Robert De Niro in that role? He should be playing a pizza maker in Brooklyn.
Savage.
There's a moon out tonight. Let's go strolling. There's a girl in my heart.
Life is a series of terrors with an occasional plateau of happiness and beauty. If anyone tells you it's the other way around, they're lying to you or they're drug addicts. Life is terrifying. You know what real life is? It's a holy terror. That's why you're born screaming and you die screaming. Do you understand that? Do you understand that, mister? That life is not what the teacher told you. Life is not what these freaks in America trying to teach your children. Life is a nightmare. It's horrible. That's why you're born screaming. That's why you die screaming. But occasionally, as I said, there is, a brief respite here and there. I had one last night. And the tougher you make your kid, the happier your kid's going to be. And the tougher you raise the kid, the happier his life is going to be. And the softer you make your son, the worse his life is going to be. The softer you make your son, the more he's going to be stepped on and turned into a worm. But aside from that,